Before you could talk, before you could even understand what a family was, you were already given a job. Nobody sat you down and explained it. Nobody asked if you wanted it. But somehow, you knew what you were supposed to be, and you spent the rest of your life playing that part so well, you forgot it was ever a role at all. Think about family gatherings. Think about how naturally you fall into your part the second you walk through that door. Maybe you smooth things over before an argument even starts. Maybe you go quiet, taking up as little space as possible. Maybe you crack jokes and keep the energy light, because somewhere along the way, you learned that a heavy room was your job to fix. You don't even think about it anymore. You just become it. Here's what nobody tells you. Families don't just raise you, they assign you a role. Under stress, every family unconsciously casts its members into parts that keep the whole system stable. The one who achieves, the one who mediates, the one who disappears, the one who causes problems so everyone else looks fine by comparison. You were given a part in this, and you played it so well, you started to believe it was simply who you were. This is the part that hurts to sit with. That role was never really about you. It was about what your family needed to survive. If you became the peacekeeper, it wasn't because you were naturally calm. It's because someone needed to be, and it couldn't be the adults. If you became invisible, it wasn't because you had nothing to offer. It's because your needs would have added weight to a house that was already struggling to carry itself. Your role was never a reflection of your worth. It was a reflection of what was missing around you. And once you understand that, something shifts. You stop asking what's wrong with you, and start asking what were you responding to. That single question can undo years of quiet self-blame, because it moves the problem from your character to your circumstances, where it always actually belonged. Pause here for a second. Ask yourself honestly, if you stopped playing your role tomorrow, stopped fixing, performing, disappearing, achieving, what do you think would happen to the people around you? If your answer scares you a little, that fear is the role talking, not you. Sit with that fear for a moment instead of rushing past it. It's been running the show longer than you realize. Think about how this shows up now, far from that original house. You're still the one who checks on everyone else first, even in friendships where no one asked you to. You still soften bad news before you deliver it, protecting people from a reaction you're not even sure they'd have. You still shrink yourself in rooms where you're allowed to take up space, because some old part of you is still convinced that being smaller keeps things safer. You call this being easygoing. It's not easygoing. It's a job you never clocked out of. It shows up in smaller ways too, ways you might not have connected to any of this before. The way you say you're fine before anyone even asks if something's wrong. The way you apologize for taking up time in a conversation that was always meant to include you. The way you feel a flicker of guilt when something good happens to you and not to the people you grew up protecting. None of that is coincidence. It's the role, still clocking in, even when nobody's watching anymore. And here's the twist that changes everything, if you let it. The role protected your family. It did not protect you. While everyone else got to have a childhood, you were managing one. While everyone else got to fall apart sometimes, you had to stay steady, because steady was your assignment. You weren't just growing up in that house. You were working in it. And nobody ever thanked the employee for a job they never technically signed up for. Pause again. Think about the version of you that existed before the role, before you learned to read the room, before you learned to disappear, before you learned that your job was to make everyone else feel okay. That version of you didn't disappear. It just got buried under years of performing a part that was never yours to carry alone. It's still there, waiting, underneath all that practiced calm. The hardest truth in all of this is that you can love your family and still admit the role hurt you. Those two things are not in conflict. You can understand why the role existed and still grieve everything it cost you. The version of you that never got to be difficult sometimes. The version of you that never got to fall apart without apologizing for it. The version of you that never got asked what you needed because you were too busy managing what everyone else needed. Grief is allowed here, even if nothing bad ever technically happened to you. You don't need a dramatic story to justify feeling the weight of what you carried. Quiet loss is still loss. A childhood spent managing everyone else's emotional temperature is still a childhood that got interrupted, even if it looked, from the outside, like everything was fine. You are allowed to put the role down. Not violently. Not by blowing up every relationship that depended on it. but slowly, quietly, in the small moments where you catch yourself performing it out of habit rather than truth. The next time you feel yourself stepping into that old part, pause and ask, is this actually me, or is this just the role? That question alone, asked enough times, starts to loosen a grip that's held on for years. You were cast in this before you had a say, but you get a say now, and the person underneath the role, the one who's been waiting this whole time, patiently, quietly, without ever once complaining, deserves the chance to finally exist without a part to play.